Excellent!
What's up guys, and welcome back to Paul's Hardware. Today's video is going to be my review of the brand new Fractal design Node 804 micro-atx computer case. So the Node 804 is a micro-atx chassis. It's got a very short and squat design, in case it wasn't already obvious, and it's basically set up in two chambers. So you have the main chamber on the left side, if you're looking at the front of it, that has the motherboard as well as CPU, graphics card, more heat generating components. And then the right side, if you're looking at the front, is going to be where the power supply goes, as well as a bunch of different storage bays, so you can fit a bunch of drives in there. The contents, apart from the case itself, you get a user's guide. You also get a really good build walkthrough in that user's guide, so that's pretty nice to have. It's really useful for sort of an atypical form factor like this one. You also get some zip ties, all of the screws, optical drive brackets, standoff nut for tightening standoffs, and rubber washers for the hard drives. There's a grill at the bottom of the front of the case, and that's for airflow. Has kind of a minimalistic design, kind of sticking with the Fractal kind of minimalist basic sort of look to it, but very clean. Brushed aluminum on the front, so that's very nice, although it does tend to pick up quite a few fingerprints. And then it's got a Fractal logo down in the lower right hand side, and as well as a white LED. Along the right edge you have a slim slot loading optical drive bay. You also have mic and headphone jack, power button. There is no reset button on this, bear that in mind. Double USB 3.0 ports, and then the actual size of this case is 307 millimeters high, 342 millimeters wide, and 383 millimeters deep. That's 12.09 by 13.46 by 15.08 inches. The left side over here has a large clear plexiglass window, so you can ogle the interior components after you get that all put together. Then on the right side you have a basic solid thick gauge steel side panel. On the back you can get sort of a better idea of the layout, so you can see you got a couple fan mounts, 120 or 140 on the left side, 120 on the right side. I/O as well as expansion brackets for the motherboard, and then the power supply, which mounts in the lower left. On the top you have a removable panel which just slides back and off and is held on with some thumb screws. And this one is quite nice because it covers the entire top. It is grilled on the top, and then it has a mesh filter right beneath that. So that's going to keep all the dust out of the top, since there's a lot of openings up there. You also have more dust filtration along the bottom. So you have a long removable filter along the bottom for the main chamber. Then you get a shorter one for the power supply, which unfortunately is kind of difficult to remove without actually tipping the case up, but still nice that it is there. Also on the bottom you have some rubber feet, which is very nice to help with noise and vibration. And of course the case is very stable thanks to its wide stance. Now both side panels, the top panel and the front bezel, are easily removed, just like that, although the front panel does still have the cables attached to it. There's two more long dust filters that cover the four front fan or radiator mounts, and I love this because it means that you have all the intakes as well as the top all filtered, so just make sure you can access all of them wherever you have the case actually set up. Speaking of radiator support, the Node 804 features a crap ton of potential radiator configurations. The front can support a 240 on either side. The top can fit a 240 in the main chamber over here and a 280 on the power supply side. You can't do all of those radiators at the same time though, so just bear that in mind. You can also fit up to 10 case fans throughout this chassis, and many of the mounts support 120 or 140 millimeter fan sizes. You have a 3-position fan controller located here at the back as well. The main chamber on the left side is for all of your hotter components like your CPU and your video card. Interior is fully painted black, and it's got some signature Fractal white highlights on the fan blades and the expansion brackets at the back. You get 5 expansion brackets, by the way, so you can go ahead and go with a 2-way GPU configuration that is supported with micro-atx. Just bear in mind that if you do a second 2-slot GPU down at the bottom, it's probably going to block the 2 bottom mounts that you have down there for 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch storage drives. There's a large cutout in the motherboard tray for a CPU backplate, and there's a couple more amply sized routing holes towards the front for routing your cables and for cable management. And I also want to point out that I really like the cable tie downs down at the bottom as well. On the power supply side you have a power supply mount, surprisingly enough. You also have rubber mounts to support the power supply, which also makes me very happy. And you have the thoughtful inclusion of a couple Velcro straps right behind the power supply, so that's going to help you out a lot with cable management. At the top, you can hang up to 8 3.5-inch drives in these white cages. The cages can be removed with thumb screws, and the drives mount with screws and rubber washers inside. For the record, I do prefer to screw mount mechanical hard drives, just is a lot more stable that way. The whole assembly up here can be removed as well if you want to fit in a radiator, or if you just hate 3.5-inch drives because of what they did to your sister. Finally, for drive support, you also have a couple stealth 2.5-inch drive mounts tucked into the back of the front bezel. So I'm hopefully going to be building a brand new HTPC gaming system in this particular case. That's coming soon, or at least sooner rather than later, hopefully. But in closing, I did want to say it seems like a really well-designed computer case. A great job by Fractal with the Node 804. It seems really well suited for what I'm intending to use it for, gaming HTPC, but you could also set up maybe a small server or something like that in this with all of the drive mount support. You could perhaps even go for a portable gaming system. Not exactly carrying friendly, but it is small enough that you could easily move it around and it's not going to be terribly heavy. But I also like that it's a really well-designed micro-ATX chassis. I tend to lean a little bit more towards micro-ATX as compared to mini-ATX when it comes to smaller form factors. I just like that you get a little bit more expandability. You can actually set up a single or two-way SLI or crossfire configuration, and having extra slots there is great for something like a gaming HTPC, because I need a slot for the video card as well as a slot for the cable card that I'm also going to be using from Seaton. But that's all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave me a comment down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this particular case. Give me a like while you're down there if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.